With great love and respect in my heart, I welcome you to this moment. I see many familiar faces, and if this is your first time, welcome. Going back to the basics, what is spirituality? People confuse it with religion. The easiest way I can mention is there are two aspects of human life. Two aspects. One, that we engage in the world and our story, our struggles, our success, our family, workplace, our aspirations, we are busy with most of the time. What we identify with. But this is me, this is my life. And the other aspect of human life is that which is constant, unchanging. That has been with us from the moment we were born, in its perfect wholeness, in its perfection, unchanging. It's there from the moment we were born. And the other aspect is constantly changing. Every moment is changing. Even this body that we identify with is changing every moment. So we have these two aspects of life. One aspect we are always engaged with, always thinking about it, doing things. But the other aspect, paying attention, even acknowledging the other aspect of our life, can be called spirituality. To give you another example of this, you're laying on your back, looking at the vastness of the sky. You're lost in its vastness, in its beauty, its magnificence. All of a sudden, a plane appears. Your mind goes to the plane, and you begin to track the plane. You're totally forgotten about the sky. What kind of plane it is, from where it is coming, where it's going, who is in there, all kinds of things. We begin to track the plane. We have totally forgotten about the sky. You read a newspaper. We are reacting to the news, looking at the scores, looking at all kinds of information. Do we ever think about the plain paper on which it's printed? It's there. Because of it, that news is coming to us. Paper is there, the blank sheet of paper on which it's printed. How often do we think about just that paper totally blank? Silence is always there. Sound appears on the surface. It appears and disappears. Our mind goes to the sound. And we say, we lost the silence. Silence hasn't gone anywhere. It's there. Just my mind has gone to the sound. It is because of the silence we can hear the sound. It is because of the paper on which something can be printed, we get the news. In the same fashion, there is another aspect of our life which is constant, unchanging, unblemished, always there. Paying attention to that, doing something to acknowledge its importance in our life is spirituality. Now, how do we do that? All over the world, in all the great traditions, people have even tried to give it a name, call it God, and then create elaborate rituals, practices, scriptures, all kinds of things. You can't do them all. Everybody's saying the same thing. Everybody's trying to connect with the same thing in different ways. In this day and age, there is so much information, so many practices. One cannot do it all. We are so busy. Now we got our little phone with us all the time. The moment I see people wake up, they reach to their phone and start looking at it. You receive a text and you immediately feel compelled to respond to it. There is so much demand on our time. You're a householder, you got your obligations. When our life has become so busy, that's the first thing that is compromised. I have no time for that. And actually, that is the thing that is most important to acknowledge, to connect with. I have seen people get inspired, then go on, create an elaborate practice, do it for a few days, then they get distracted. What is important is doing something very simple daily. Daily. The word for sadhana or spiritual practice is sadhya, that which is practical, that which can be done. You may take on a spiritual practice, but the rituals are so long and the demand of time is so much that you may not be able to do it. Then you feel guilty. Our spiritual practice should be so simple that mind does not find any excuse not to do it. Think about that. Mind should not find any excuse. People come to me and say, Babaji, what should I really do? I say, think about the simplest thing you can do. That the very moment you wake up, the first thing you should do. What is the first thing we do when we become aware of when we wake up. We're breathing. That's the most precious phenomena in our life. May I dedicate a few breaths in the name of that other aspect of our life. Just think about this. You are offering the most precious thing that you have to that. The very definition of sacred is that which has been carved out. That's the root. So, that which has been carved out. If we carve out some time or some practice that we already have in the name of that which we are respecting, it becomes sacred. We don't have to bring anything new from outside. It's all here. So out of this, how many breaths do we take in a day? Does anybody know? See, this is the most precious gift we have. Without this, we won't even exist. A normal person takes in 21,600 breaths in a day. Now you ask me how? Well, 15 breaths per minute. Now you can do the math. So out of these 21,600 breaths, take out the first 3 breaths in the morning. As soon as you wake up and you are about to greet yourself to the new day, let's start right there. Just sitting in your bed, taking 3 deep breaths. We start there. And you don't have to think about anything, don't have to think about any prayer, mantra, or image, anything. Just be fully present to those 3 breaths. Breathing in, you are totally aware of this gift coming in your body. Breathing out, you connect with that calmness, descends as you breathe out. Fully welcome this breath. Mind will get active in there. Oh, what am I doing? What should I be thinking? Maybe I should be doing this. Maybe. Don't try to perfect it. Just be right there. Be present. Taste that moment. If you're not careful, your mind will already come in and say, maybe I could be breathing a little differently. Maybe there is some other techniques. Maybe I should just start Googling. Just enjoy the breath that's coming in. See its interaction with your body, where it starts, how it's being accepted by your body. How does your body feel in that moment? Stay fully present to those 3 breaths. If you don't do any other spiritual work, call this is your practice. Just start there. Even a moment of remembrance with pure heart and mind is enough. If you start with that in the first thing in the morning, you will slowly, as it becomes a part of your routine, your ritual, this little thing will keep creeping in throughout your day. But please be very careful that don't make it just another thing to do. It's not a thing to do. It's a thing to be present to what is already there. Sometimes people say, no, Babaji, I need to think, what am I doing with these 3 breaths? I say, well, just dedicate it to, I love myself, I respect in the name of things. First breath is acknowledgement of I love myself. Second breath is I respect myself. Third one. That's for those who can't be present to that phenomenon. Let the mind at least think that way. Please remember, what we sow in the morning, that's what we keep harvesting throughout the day. So how you start your morning is the very, very, very important thing. How you start your morning. Each day is a new day. Each day we take a new life. It's filled with possibilities. So if you are going to bring spirituality in your life, or you are going to fine tune it a little bit, I would very strongly recommend, first thing, make it very clear to yourself, what you do first thing in the morning should be greeting the breath. You cannot be busy. Nothing is, whatever is waiting for you, you can take this time for 3 breaths. If you want to do a little more, check which nostril is more open. You have taken your 3 deep breaths. Now it's time to enter the world. Check which nostril is more dominant, more open. You can just close the one, right one, breathe through the left, then close the left one, breathe through the right one. See which one is more flowing. Whichever is flowing, the dominant one, that should be the foot to step on the ground with. If your left nostril is more open, step on the ground with your left foot. If the right nostril is more open, that day, you step on the ground with the right foot. It's different every day. Depends on what kind of sleep you had. So the messages that are coming, your body is giving you a message through the breath. So once you step on the ground with that foot, you are sending a signal to your body, I'm listening to you. The first, taking those 3 deep breaths, I'm being present to you. Paying attention to which nostril is flowing, stepping on the ground with that one, sends a message. I am listening to you. Naturally, any child that feels the parents were there, present, any child that feels heard, doesn't throw tantrum. Same thing with our body. We push through many things. We steamroll through the messages that our body is constantly giving us. So we start here. We start being present to our body. we start listening to the messages that our body sends to us in a very simple way. Third, walk to the sink, drink a glass of lukewarm water with little lemon, lime, apple cider vinegar, whatever. So these three things I recommend to everyone who comes to me, who talks to me, because it also keeps your body healthy. If your body is healthy, then your mind can be at peace, then you can do some other things. First, taking care of the foundation. How I start my day, how I greet my day, how I prepare myself. Now, as I was saying, the definition of sacredness is that which has been carved out from the rest. So if you want to do a little more, think of a time when you were not needed by anyone. Five minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour. But when you have carved out that half an hour or 10 minutes, nothing is more important than being there. No matter what happens. If we are not serious about it, that's the first thing that gets compromised. I have to go to a party. I have to take my dog out. I have to walk the cat, whatever. It's that time that gets compromised. Then how can we expect it to be so rich for us? Anything that's precious, that's valuable, that we expect to give something to us requires that kind of commitment. If you're trying to develop your spiritual practice, you have to look at your commitment to that. I'm not saying it needs to be long, it just needs to be 5 minutes. But those 5 minutes should be fully devoted, dedicated to that work. Nowadays, there is a fashion of multitasking. We're talking, and the technology has made it so easy that, or distraction actually, that now even it's right on the wrist. Text comes in, and no matter what you are doing, you just look at it. You're distracted from where you were. So how can we create a little space in our life that I'm not distracted by anything, I'm just fully present here? It happens in the families. The partner comes home at the end of the day, they're there, the body's there, but they never get to even look at each other because everybody's looking at their phone. Everybody's listening and answering and texting and this and that. They never get to be fully present to each other. Body can be there, but if this connection is not made, connection is not made. So it's all about our being fully present. No matter what practice you have, looking at you, everybody have some kind of practice. No matter what practice you have, it's all good. There is nothing, one is better than the other. Whatever resonates with your heart and mind, that's the practice for you. There is not a better practice. There is not a more mysterious and serious practice. Whatever makes your heart and mind at ease and that feels that you are with yourself, that practice is the best practice. Yes, then our mind comes in, and mind will always be questioning or saying that there is something better, there is something deeper, something more meaningful. All those things come. If you want to get to the water, you have to dig one well deep. Otherwise, in today's world of information, we take on a practice, we do it for a while, then if something happens, it doesn't do anything, then we go to another one, then another one, then another one. You end up digging lots of potholes and never get to the water. So to go deeper in our spiritual practice, it's very important to stick to one practice and do it daily, even for 5-10 minutes. Touching base with it daily is very important. This is why I keep saying, keep your practice so simple that you can do it daily. It's not about the quantity, it's more about the quality. May it be simple, may it be something I can do in 10 minutes with full presence, full absorption without distraction. This is very important. And no matter what practice you have, it all will bear fruit. But you have to look at your commitment to it. Really commit, trusting it. It's very hard to trust yourself particularly, because there is something telling you that it could be better. I don't trust myself. Out of that written need of human, I think then the guru-based tradition emerged in India. If you don't trust yourself, you find somebody that you trust, who tells you what to do, and then you do it. This is the role of the guru. That we establish a relationship with somebody, of this guru student, and then the guru gives you the practice, and you do the practice with that dedication. Then you are saved from your doubting mind. This is the role of the guru. Everybody doesn't need a guru, but actually, if I were speaking traditionally, in India, it is said your spiritual journey begins after you have found your guru. And because the guru gives you a practice, then you do that practice with full devotion, without doubting it, without questioning it. So whatever you do, even for 5-10 minutes every day, without doubt, it takes root. But if you've got something you are doing for hours every day, but you don't really have that full confidence in it, it won't work. If you want to dig a well, you have to dig one well deep. Yes, there will be times the shaft is just spinning on a rock and looks like it's not going anywhere. But if you just keep doing, or maybe there you have somebody in your life who just tells, oh, just keep going, keep going. One day the rock bursts and the shaft falls. So it happens that way. In this talk today, for those of you who have not heard me speak about a spiritual practice, to sum it up, I would recommend say, first, carve out a little time, 5-10 minutes, that you can be fully present to. And in that carved out time, do whatever practice resonates with your heart and mind. Whatever your heart and mind accepts, just do that without any doubt. Practices are many in all different traditions. Some people sit in a cave and meditate, and some people read scriptures, some people stand on one leg, some people dance and beat the drum, and whatever. They're all good. What is good for you? That's what you have to ask yourself. What resonates with your heart and mind? And once it resonates, then embrace it fully. That this is how I acknowledge that aspect of my life. In the beginning, I mentioned there are two aspects of your life. One is constantly changing, another one is totally there. We call it the divine self. We can call it the divine self. That is the presence of the divine in our life. It is the foundation on which all the story is being played. But we only identify with the story, not with the divinity. So once we begin to embark upon our spiritual practice, that means that I am really acknowledging my divinity. It's there, but I have never paid attention to it. Now, acknowledging the divinity, coming closer to the divinity, honoring the divinity needs some kind of ritual. And that ritual is our practice. That ritual could be just the 3 breaths, or you can just go and buy a zafu and crystals and bells and lamps and go for it if you got time and energy for that. You can make it as complicated as you want, or you can make it as simple as you want. And I propose keep it simple. Be fully present to that breath. It is sacred gift being given to you every time. This is the most precious gift we got that I will not exchange for anything. It is so precious. So if we have a precious thing, all we need to do is be present to it, appreciate it, and really see the presence of the divine flowing through us, through this breath. How beautiful it feels when you can just sit down sometimes without any mantra, tantra, prayer, anything. Just sit quietly and become aware Just think what a gift it is that life is flowing in me. I'm coming to life with this vegetation of this breath. Spirituality is not a mystery. It's very simple. Very, very simple. Simpler than you think. Because the moment you begin to think, you start complicating it. Just sit with it and taste it, feel it, know it. And it won't last for very long. So even if you could take 3 breaths with that remembrance of appreciation, with the remembrance of this richness of this gift in our life, that is enough. I see people engaging in all kinds of spiritual practices. They're reading and they're praying, but they're totally distracted. It just becomes a lip service. That doesn't do any good. Even a moment of presence, full presence, is much more important than all day long looking holy and praying and this and that and mind somewhere else. So please never underestimate the power of your own presence to the mystery that is already happening within you. I can go on speaking. I love to speak on this topic, but I know the time is running short. Shannon, you want to give a little time for everybody, and I could be present for questions?
Sure. Thank you, Babaji. If you'd like to ask Babaji a question, you can feel free to raise your hand. You can do that by going down to the reactions button and clicking the little raise hand icon, or you can just wave at me if your camera's on. You also can just either put a question or a comment in the chat, either privately to me, and I'm happy to relay it to Babaji, or you can write it and I'll relay it. So questions, comments, or if you'd like to speak with Babaji. Hi, Mila.
Yeah. Say it like
Hi. Hello. Hello.
Hi, Ratan. Would you like to ask a question?
This is my father, Vidya Singh, who would like to speak to Babaji.
Great. Babaji, are you still with us?
Yes.
Hi.
Pranam, sir.
Very impressive speech. Very, very impressive. I learned a lot. I have to use it regularly. And I really praise you. Very, very good. Babaji, right now, I have been sick for almost 4 weeks because I had an infection, urinary infection. And heavy use of antibiotic has made me worse. I'm very weak and not up to my mark. So trying to do the medications and this. But as soon as I recover, I want to visit. It is long overdue. I want to come and pay respect to you and visit you and commend you for your grand speech. It's a lot of good to humanity. It's a lot good to humanity. I can see.
I would love to see you visit Daksha. Please come. But in the meantime, let them do the medication and you do the meditation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I try every day, but this thing has interrupted me.
Uh-huh.
But your few words that even if it is 5 minutes, dedication, very important. And I try every day. I try. Every day I try.
Okay, get well soon, and I look forward to your visit.
Thank you so much. I would like to, just a second. All right. How are you, everybody? Everything all right?
Everything is good. I look forward to your visit.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Get well
Thank
soon, yeah.
you.
Pranam, sir. Pranam.
Babaji, there's a question for you. Could Baba please elaborate on the nostril breath test?
Yes. First, we have to know we are breathing. The breath is there. If we just needed the air breath, there could be a big hole, one hole, and somehow the body would have developed that way. Why there is need for two? There is a reason. Through the left nostril, we take the energy from the moon. Through the right nostril, we take the energy from the sun. Active, passive, yin yang, male, female. So there's the opposite kind of energy enters with the breath. And that energy goes through our body, crisscrossing at all different places. And those are the places are known as chakras. So there is a left nostril and the right nostril. How to check which one is more dominant? Just close one and just simply breathe in and breathe out and pay attention to the flow. Then close the other one and breathe in and out. One is a little smoother than the other one. So which one is smoother? That one is the one that's open. That's the one that's flowing in your body. That part is active at that time. So you step with that foot on the ground. So your body is sending the message, which part is little active. So you move with that side. Does that make any clear?
I see nodding. There's a question about visiting the ashram without making an appointment. And I just wanted to say that we have outdoor meditation at 6 p.m. in the evenings.
તારે રૂમ ને આરે રૂમ માટે શું સ્કીપી માટે જ રાખવું એ રાખી લે બાકીના મારે નીચે ઉતારવા છે કમ્ફર્ટર ને એક બે જો તો જો હા પણ જોઈ લે ને તારે જીરા 5-6
So we have live meditation outside 6 p.m. in the evenings this time of year. Just to finish that, and I'm trying to figure out if someone was trying to speak to you, Babaji. Hold on 1 second. Until I can figure that out, I just wanted to read a message to you, Babaji. Hi, Shannon. I'd like to thank Baba so much. I stayed in Sonoma Ashram in 2014, and I could never forget him and the people I met there. Until today, I do not put my feet on the ground before I feel my nostrils. I felt so glad when he talked about that again. Thank you so much, Babaji. Fabiana.
If you don't have a spiritual practice or don't think that you have one, there is some kind of little feeling of missing something or some guilt even comes in. So we have to take care of the guilt first. So tell yourself that I don't know anything, I don't do anything, but at least I take these 3 deep breaths to honor my divinity, to honor that aspect of my life. Even if you just do that, at least it takes care of the guilt. It's not what you do, it's the guilt is more harmful than doing or not doing. So yes, those 3 deep breaths, and then after that, you can do a lot more, or just keep it at that. But call yourself a spiritual being. And I don't believe in anything, I don't pray, but this is what I do. And through this, I acknowledge that aspect of my life, because that aspect of her life needs to be acknowledged.
There's just a cheer of on the presence of Western medicine and Eastern spirituality in our lives. Let them do the medication, you do the meditation is a classic. And then there's a couple of questions. Is it possible to be free of self-centered activity?
Is it possible to be free of self-centered activity? Is that was the question, Shannon?
Yes, Babaji.
Well, there is a small s self, and then there is a big S self. So self-centered with a big S, like when you are meditating, when you are just being peaceful, when you are connecting, I don't call it self-centered with a small s. When you are meditating, when you are connecting with your higher self, you are basically doing good to the greater. So when you are being honoring your divinity, honoring your higher self through quieting yourself, through meditation, I don't call that a self-centered activity. The vibrations coming out of your being in that moment add to the peace, add to the healing of the world. And that's not just self-centered.
There's several questions coming in the chat, and Roger has his hand up. Roger, did you want to speak with Babaji? You're on mute.
Babaji, I just wanted to say how important the daily practice that you taught me has been to my life. Although I haven't seen you since before the pandemic, I continue my daily practice, and it's changed my life in ways that I couldn't even imagine. So just a word of thanks and a word of hope to everybody who uses some of your wisdom. Thank you so much, Babaji. I look forward to seeing you.
Thank you, Roger. It's good to see you. I haven't seen you in some time. Continue.
So there's a question, Babaji. What keeps us from bringing a simple practice like this into our life?
What keeps us? It's lack of love for the self. It's really lack of love for the self. So instead of asking what keeps me, I would suggest just start thinking, this is how I'm going to love myself. And even those 3 breaths in the morning, assign them that I am going to do this just for myself. Laziness comes in, procrastination comes in, all those things come in. But if you could just say that to yourself in your simple moments, that I don't, even if I don't deserve to love myself, but I'm going to start there. As soon as I wake up, I'm going to take those 3 deep breaths and dedicate them. It can change you. It will change you. If you could really give that promise to yourself and keep that promise. I remember a little event. Someone had come to me and he said, Babaji, I used to meditate for hours and I used to be real good, and I even went to Bali and brought a Buddha, human-sized Buddha, and put it in front of my office. But I feel so bad. I haven't meditated for a year. Now I go to my office, I don't even look at Buddha. I try to look away from the Buddha. I feel so bad. Where should I start? I want to get back. I said, okay, don't wait for any other day, start tomorrow. When you go and park your car, you're walking to your office, there are lots of bushes, just pick one little flower. And when you go there, just look at Buddha and just put the flower there. He said, that's it? I said, yeah, that's it. And let me know next day or after a week or so. He said, Babaji, the moment I picked the flower, I knew something was going to change. And when I went to the Buddha, placed the flower and looked in his eyes, everything changed in me. I'm not meditating for an hour, but the guilt that I was carrying, my mind just became so light. And now I have begun to meditate. So it's the simple little thing that can cause the shift. It's not the big thing.
Thank you, Babaji. There's several questions about how to access the Sunday talks. So Babaji's Sunday talks are at 9 a.m. Pacific time every Sunday on Zoom. You can come live or you can see them afterwards. So the live talks, we send out an email. You can join on our website, sonomaashram.org. And you can also, by registering there, you can see a year's worth of Babaji satsang talks as well. So just wanted to name that there were several questions about that and many, many messages of thanks to you, Babaji, in the chat. Oh, and also, sorry, Amy just sent me, you can also email us at info@sonomaashram.org. You can follow us on Instagram, Sonoma Ashram, or on Facebook, Sonoma Ashram.
So today's reminder, please remember from a pure heart and a pure mind. If you could just take even a few deep breaths and feeling the mystery, feeling the gratitude of that breath. It's a good start. And you don't have to sit in a lotus. You don't have to look holy. Just laying in your bed. Just be comfortable. Soften your body. Just drop it. And then bring your attention to your breath and just enjoy the mystery. Just taste it and start there. Thank you for your presence here. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you, everybody. And it's beautiful to see you, and we'll continue. if you have any questions or any comments, and we could build on this, maybe have a series of basic practices, and drop a line to Shannon, and we'll see from there. So wherever you are, let's just take a moment to be fully present. Close your eyes. Lighten your mind. Calm your eyes. Invite that peace, the calming, cooling sensation in your eyes. Relax your facial muscles, neck, shoulders, spine. Soften the belly and just get grounded. Soften the belly. Imagine the breath is rising at the belly, coming towards your heart as you breathe in, returning to the belly as you breathe out. Just breathing in and breathing out. Staying with the breath. Feeling how my body is interacting with this breath, how it's feeling, how it's coming down. As you breathe out, experience the peace descending in you. I bow to this stillness, this peace within you. We are all interconnected with this peace. And take leave of you till we meet next again. Thank you all very much.